So in this demo, we look at how to create a summary for a large document using OpenAI. Now, as we have seen in the earlier demo, we cannot send the whole large document to OpenAI because of the token limits. So what we do is we split the document into something that will fit into the token limits, right? So for example, if I create these splits here for the document, once we have done the splits, I'll create the summary for each one of those using OpenAI, and then I merge those summaries to create one larger document. Now at this point, I can either, if the document is still larger than the token limit, I'll split again and then I create the summaries and go through this process again. Once I reach a point where this whole merged summaries will fit into one prompt, I will then create a one final summary. Now, this step is needed because um, just to make sure that we create a one continuous summary, right? Because in this case, the continuity uh, will have a challenge, right? It may not be the joint summary, the merge summary may not be continuous, right? So that's why we have to do it. Now, let's have a look at a demo. So this is the story. Again, it is a class 11 English book story, which is the summer of the beautiful white horse. So I'm going to create a concise summary. Now, you cannot actually say that you create a summary of 50 words or 100 words or 150 or 200 words, something like that. It is difficult for OpenAI to uh, stay within the limit of those words. But what it can do is try to understand what you are asking it to do. For example, here I'm asking maybe a little bit smaller summary when I'm saying either concise or a second. But if I'm saying comprehensive, elaborate, or detailed, maybe I want a little bit detailed summary. That's these three words will behave almost similar. Or maybe I want the summary to be in bullet points. We'll see all these three examples, right? So first, let's try with concise. Now, in this case, you see that at the back end, I'm creating a two splits of the document, and these both will be sent to the OpenAI. Once I get the response back, these will be merged, and then right, I'll get one combined summary. So let's look at the front end. Okay, so we get this concise summary. So let's do a detailed one. Now this is you can read it, right? There are two, Aram and his cousin Murad. They find a beautiful horse and all that. They use it for 6 months before returning, right? So let's look at what happens when we. All right, so we get a little bit bigger summary in this case, right? We've asked for a detailed summary. Now, if we go to the bullet points, now in this case, you see that we get the bullet points, right? So these hyphens are nothing but the bullet points. Maybe in a prompt you can write how your line separators should be. I didn't try that, but this is the default one, right? Hyphen is the default one. For example, who took the horse? You know, maybe the horse is stolen and all that. Yeah, and then boys eventually return the horse to the own buyer. Now we can try something maybe a little bit bigger document as well. Now this one document will, and we can try something else. Will create a little more number of splits to the back end. I think in this case this will be 4. So we get 4 splits here. Now the code that is written as is a little bit slower because I am sending these pieces to the OpenAI serially, right? You can choose to send all of these pieces in parallel to the OpenAI and then merge the results, right? That way the results will be quite faster. All right, so we get the results back and you can see it's quite elaborative, right? It's quite large in that sense and it covers a lot of, but this chapter, if you look at, this is actually a 23 page story. If I look at, so it's not a small story, right? This is a 23 page. The story itself is quite large and we get a quite elaborative summary in this case, right? This works quite well. You can try to choose multiple different types of words instead of trying to restrict it with the numbers. I've tried that; it doesn't work. Behave in a good way. Another point to note here is the larger number of iterations you have in here, um, the worse the quality becomes, right? I think as and this is probably quite understandable because at each summary stage you are losing quite a bit of information. So the more iterations you have, more information will be lost, and the summary may not be quite good. So maybe try to restrict it to maybe no more than two iterations. So in this case, it is one iteration of split and merge. Maybe you can have another one in here. Okay, and to avoid that, maybe you should use a model which is, let's say, a 16K or a 32K token limit. Okay, if let's say the 4K isn't working for you. So that's it for the demo.